the Bad Guy show. Y'all have one job, have all my props here. Where's the perfume? Where's the perfume? Now, we need to have a little meeting from last week, because last week, why is it thundering outside? If y'all knew I was recording today, y'all should have controlled the weather. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Last week, my earring dropped. I got oh, cut in the middle of the show. Like, that is unacceptable. So this week, make sure y'all are up to par. Make sure y'all are doing what y'all need to do. This is where Christ and culture connects. It can get ratchet.
You are watching a master at work.
Are we clear? That's what I like to hear. Hey y'all, welcome to the Christian Bae TV, where Christ and culture connects. I pray that you guys are having a wonderful day. As you guys see from the title, today we're jumping into another episode of the Christian Bae TV, episode 2. Thank you guys so much for watching episode 1. I love the feedback, I love the comments, I love you guys interacting, and I just appreciate you guys for all of your support. As you see from today's title, we're talking about clout versus calling. The thunder, it's the thunder for me. You gonna thunder at the right moments, but can somebody go handle that? You got it. You know what? You disrespectful and I respect that. Y'all, I'm gonna work on talking with my hands, because my hands be like, girl, get it together, get it together. Okay, I'm gonna put them on the table. Now, on today's, okay. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about clout versus calling. Y'all, I'm like this under the table. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about clout versus calling. But before we get into today's episode, of course, we got to do our OOTD. So today I have on a dress from Zara. Real cute, real polished.
No!
Yeah.
Tabia!
You got so much clout, bro.
It's from Zara, okay? And it's just a little shindig, a little Y'all, I'm always gonna have on my cross necklace, so I gotta keep the Lord with me, okay? This is a little watch from an accessory store. It ain't a Rollie yet. This is a little ring from Shein, $2. And today's scents. Today's scents. It's for my clean girl aesthetic. If you love the clean girl aesthetic, this is the perfume for you. It's Clean Reserve, and this scent is Skin. And y'all, it's like very fresh. That's the perfect way, and it fits the name, clean. It's very fresh. If you're a minimalist, this is the scent for you. If you the girl that like your natural hair slicked back with the baby edges and only wear studs, neutral colors, this your scent. Like, it's a very solid scent. It gives me daytime. It's perfect for daytime. If you trying to feel sexy, like black dress, this not that scent. This is the flowy, light colors, real clean, minimalist look scent. So if you're that girl, this your scent. I already told y'all I've been working on my makeup, doing my makeup different, and today's lip combo, another nude lip. I'm gonna switch it up for y'all, I promise. But this nude lip is just a black liner like always, and I have on the Huda Beauty Sugar Boo. This is my new favorite lip combo. Okay, this is my new favorite lip combo because it is so pigmented that literally when I take out the brush, I just put a dot right here and I spread it out, and we're good to go. Good to go. Okay, we're good to go. I put a little bit of gloss on top. I don't have it on now because I've been talking, but it still gives like a matte finish. Y'all, I was so pressed to record today's episode. I wanted to record it last week because did y'all watch the verses? Did y'all watch the Omarion, Bobby? Did y'all watch the Sammie, Pleasure P, Omarion, Bobby V versus? It was all over the internet, so I know y'all watched it. You cannot say, first of all, if you watched it, comment your favorite part of the verses, because that was a good 2 hours. I watched that. I didn't watch the full 4 hours because when Omarion had the watermelon, you know what? The watermelon didn't really bother me. It was the dancing with the pole on the floor.
When it's all done, when it's all done,
He lost me. He lost me there. Man of God, you lost me there. So at that point, I kind of checked out. But Sammie, Bobby V, Pleasure P, and Ray J part, let's get into it. What I loved about this Verzuz with Sammie, Bobby V, Pleasure P, and Ray J, it is the ultimate underdog story, and it aligns perfectly today with Clout versus Calling. After I watched the Verzuz, I feel like we can all say as a community that Sammie was the best singer up there. He was the best singer up. Give that man his flowers. He was the best singer up there. But after I watched the Verzuz, I was intrigued to know what was Sammie's testimony, because I told y'all I'm where Christ and Culture connect, and in everything, am I centered? Cut. Hello, is it centered? I gotta talk, move my hands around, fix my hair, be cute, hear from the Lord, center myself. I gotta do it all. Help me. I wanted to know what was Sammie's testimony. I told you guys this is where Christ and Culture connect. I'm always looking for the God in everything, even things that go on in the culture. And that's the word in itself. Don't just look for godly things in godly settings, because God is not boxed into one setting or one group of people. He is in all things, okay? He can move anywhere. So in this Verzuz, I felt compelled to know more about Sammie's testimony. We all knew him from back in the day when he sung I Like, Crazy Things I Do for Love. Then he came out with Come With Me. That song been on repeat, y'all, because that is a hit. He came out with Come With Me, and that was another hit, but then it's like he kind of fell off the face of the earth. So I wanted to know where he been and how did he get to this point at Verzuz. And y'all, his testimony inspired me so much, and I want to give you guys a brief summary. I'm going to insert some clips from his testimony, but one interview that I watched, they talked about how Sammie lost everything. His manager took everything from him.
Everything imploded when Sammie realized that his manager, whom he'd known since the very beginning of his career, had completely ripped him off. He spoke candidly to Essence about the experience in 2019. You know, you just hear those stories where one day they take everything? That legit happened. He had access to my personal account, my credit card, co-signed on my Benz. There was a day when I had nothing in my account. His manager plainly told him that if Sammie agreed to work with him again, he'd get everything back. Sammie refused. He also revealed to Essence that he experienced some dark days while dealing with the financial strain he found himself in. He pushed through.
And after that happened, he got a new spiritual mentor, a spiritual father that took him to church and told him to pay some tithes and offering. And the interview said that when Sammie put in, he wanted to pay $20, but the spiritual mentor told him, put in your whole $100. And y'all, this is the area where a lot of people don't like tithing. They don't like paying their offers and their tithings because they feel like the church is robbing them or whatever. But you're not doing it as unto the church. You're not doing it as unto the ministry. You're doing it as unto the Lord, for God to move in your finances. So this man of God told him, don't just put $20, put your whole $100. Now, remind y'all, his manager done took everything from him. So he don't even got money like that. So like, what do you mean put my whole $100? I need this money. He listened to the man. This is why it's important to listen to your coverings. Listen to people that God placed in your life to help you. He listened to the man and put the whole $100 in. And guess what happened?
Sammie's true bounce back came after he confided in his mentor, whom he met at church. His mentor took a very spiritual approach to getting him back on track. He encouraged Sammie to tithe. So Sammie did just that, but he hesitated when his mentor told him to put in the whole $100 bill instead of the $20 he was originally going to give. He did it, and the very next day he secured 2 separate bookings for $8,000 apiece. He knew from that day on he would never go without again because he jumped out on faith.
So what happened was, as you guys see from the clip, he put in $100 and the next day he got 2 bookings, and I think it was for like $8,500 or $8,100. So God gave him almost 80 times what he put in the offering. And that's the way that God works. We hold on to things and we become anxious over things, and God is just like, if you let that thing go, I will bless you with so much more than you could have ever imagined. So that, y'all already know, that inspired me to the next level, because I love a good underdog story. The thing about God is that he blesses those people that people least expected. And I feel like this ties into what happened at the Verzuz, because nobody knew who, a lot of people didn't know who Sammie was. Out of all the people up there, he was the least talked about because he hasn't been, you know, popular or having all the clout in a while. And he posted a post on Instagram and he said, Before the show, Ray J, I heard you say that you didn't know who Lil Sammie was, but I bet you know who I am now. I bet you know who I am now. What I love about it most is that it wasn't Clout that got Sammie the attention that he got. It wasn't because he had dancers like Ray J. It wasn't because he had a full band and all the other antics that comes with Clout. It was because he's called to be a singer. And he got up there with nothing but pure talent. That's what he got up there with talent. While another artist had dancers and all the stuff that looks good. And y'all, let's talk about it. So many people in our generation are focused on the things that look good. And as long as it look good, they can paint whatever image they want. But it's not about the way that it looks if it's not really in your heart. Because Ray J, I'm sorry, Ray, I love you, man of God. I just gotta be honest. Ray J had all the dancers, all the props, all the antics, everything that a singer should have. But you didn't have the voice. You didn't have the vocals. You didn't have, and I'm not saying he can't sing, but at that moment he didn't have the vocals. And I feel like that was God showing the importance of being true to your calling and not getting caught up in clout. Because you can have all the stuff that this world tell you you're supposed to have, but if you ain't got that anointing, if you're not called for that thing, if it's not in your soul, in your gut, your singing come from your gut. That's not something you can buy. That's not something you can put on. That's not something you can post online. Either you're a singer or you're not. And he showed up with all the props, but he didn't have the calling. And I feel like this is a lesson for us to take away from this moment, to understand that sometimes you may not have all of the stuff that this world has told you you have to have, but God is calling you to something. Even in the verses, there was a part where Ray J said to Sammie and Pleasure P, y'all don't even got a budget. Now, I ain't like that. I ain't like that part. I didn't like that part. And I didn't like that part because I feel like he understood that he has more clout, he has more fame than them. So now you're talking down. And granted, they said they all friends, so they was just trash talking, but behind every joke is a little bit of truth, okay? And you trying to flex on me because I don't have a budget and you out here with your dancers and you got more money, but I have more anointing. And sometimes the anointed one is the one that has less than. And the world will make you feel like you're not anointed. The world will make you feel like God is not using you. The world will make you feel like God is not calling you. But there will be a showdown, okay? There will be a showdown where God will show up and show out for you. And that's what happened at Verzuz. Sammie didn't have to have the budget. He didn't have to have all that other stuff for God to still reveal that this is who has the talent. This is who I've chosen. This is who I've called to do this. So for me, y'all, that was a whole revelation. I know it was a thing of the culture, and I know everybody was talking about it on social media and making all their jokes, but I saw the word of God in that moment. It reminded me of David and Goliath, and when David was about to fight Goliath, Saul tried to put his equipment on him, telling him put this on, and David was like, this stuff too heavy for me to carry. I understand that this is the fancy stuff. I understand that this is the stuff they say you need when you go to battle, but I never had that. I have something inside of me though. And Sammie didn't need to have the dancers for his calling to come forth. Now, speaking of people from the Verzuz, the next topic that I want to talk to you guys about is Pleasure P. Now, Pleasure P went on his live and was talking about his experience after the Verzuz, and something that he said really stood out to me. And he was talking about how us millennials, I'm a millennial, y'all. He was talking about how us millennials really don't be into social media a lot. And the thing is, I feel like for us millennials, we got a chance to have a childhood. There go the hands, there go the hands, there go the hands. I feel like for millennials, we got a chance to have a childhood before social media came about. So social media really got popping, I would say around 2007, 2008, 2009, right? For millennials, we were pretty much teenagers at that point when social media came out. I feel like, honestly, and let me know what you guys think. I feel like a lot of the issues with social anxiety and things of that nature comes from social media. And being that kids don't go outside and play anymore. They're in the house on TikTok. So now you're missing the development that comes with social interaction and being around people and walking up to people and making friends. Like my niece, she don't even like to place her own order at restaurants. And it's like, girl, you gotta talk to people, like you gotta, but on TikTok she be hips, like you gotta be you in real life too. And I feel like social media plays a big part in that. So let me know what you guys think. But on Pleasure P's live, he was talking about how millennials really don't be on social media. And I feel like that has its pros and cons when you're in the Hollywood industry. So Pleasure P is a singer. He was in a group Pretty Ricky, and then he went solo, and he was talking about how I don't do the social media mess. You not doing the social media mess is part of the reason why your career is where it is, though, because social media is where the supporters are. That is where your music will sell the most. And what I realized from listening to his live, and I'll insert a clip here.
I'm not being aggressive. This is who I am. This is how I talk. I don't talk like Michael Jackson, like, you know, I just want to think of the fans, and, you know, that's not who I am, bro. Stop trying to tell me how to be. I'm me. So if I want to talk the way I talk in the verses.
So from listening to his live, something that I realized, or something that God dropped in my spirit, is that social media can be used for good if we allow it to. I feel like people are supporting people and not just the product. See, millennials and up and older probably think, well, I'm gonna create songs and I'm just gonna post it on social media and that's it. But the difference in now is that people are getting to connect with people through social media. That has its pros and cons as well, because now people don't know how to connect in real life. But the pro side of it is that if you are an artist or a content creator, allow your audience to get to know you personally, because then they'll support the person and not just the product. People don't just support products. I've used this example 1,000 times. If Beyonce dropped a shoestring today, thousands of people will buy it because they love Beyonce. They don't have to know what the shoestring do. The shoestring don't have to be cute, but because it's Beyonce's and I love Beyonce, I'm going to buy that shoestring. I feel like this is the pro side of social media, is that people get a chance to get to know you. And if artists and content creators begin to use social media in that way, where they build relationships with their audience, then the product or the purpose or the calling that God has spoken over their life will be able to flourish, because people know the purpose in the person and not just what they're trying to push out. I also feel like this is a negative side for social media, because people are portraying certain images that they're not living in real life. I feel like God allowed this to stand out to me because I can definitely reflect back to my content that I put out last year and the year before. It was just pretty much, I'm having Bible study. Y'all know that God speaks to me. Y'all know God gives me prophetic words. I'm gonna share it with you and I'm gone. And that's great, but allow your audience to see who you are. Unbox yourself. Don't just place yourself in a box of, oh, I'm just an artist, so I'm just gonna drop a song, and I'm just a vessel of God, so I'm gonna just drop the word. No, let us see what you do in your everyday. Let me see what you do in your everyday. Let me see what your personality is like. Let me see what type of characteristics you have out when the Bible is closed. When you're not putting out music, what are you doing in your free time? Because people are trying to connect online. And if you look at it as a negative thing, then it is a negative thing, but you can look at it as a positive thing, because there may be somebody that's going through the same thing that you're going through. And because they have an inside view in your world and your process and your journey, that encourages them. So that is a reason why my content shifted as well, because I felt like you guys, not just you guys, but like my content reflected just one side of me or one layer of me. All I do is open my Bible, talk, and all right, bye y'all. I'll see y'all next week Wednesday. When that's not the case at all. God has given me the ability to look at things in the culture and see him in it, or see a word for people to realize, even though this is a bad situation, look at the good that you can find in this. Look at how you can pull God up out of this. That is a gift that he has given me. So I want my audience to know that and to understand that and to know me, because if I am God's vessel, that means that God is moving in my life in multiple ways, and he needs it to be shown to my people so that they can get to know him and understand how he moves. So the live with Pleasure P, it really spoke out to me. It really spoke to me because I feel like that's something that millennials and older need to understand about social media, is that social media wants to get to know the person. It's enough people putting on. It's enough people capping on these apps, and we sick of it, okay? Sick of it, sick of it, sick of it, sick of it. We sick of it. We're sick of the cap on the apps. And that's why ain't nobody gonna make me cap on nothing, okay? If y'all see me at the Lil Baby concert, understand that I'm gonna stick beside them. And I'm gonna pray when I get home, because that's just what it is. That's just what it is. And I feel like, I also saw this TikTok today, y'all. And the TikTok was like, anytime I post a TikTok or I post something on Instagram, my brain tells me to take it down. Take it down. That's not what we doing. Take it down.
Take it down. Take it down. Take it down. We need it gone. Take it down. That doesn't represent me or what we need to be doing. Take it.
And people was in the comments saying like, yeah, I don't want people perceiving me a certain type of way. I don't want people looking at me. As soon as I post a picture, I delete it, I erase it. I post videos and I erase it because I don't know what people gonna think. That's no way to live life, y'all. That is no way to live life. People won't always like you. People won't always agree with what you have to say, but that does not mean that you hide who you are, because then the people that do like you and the people that do connect with you can't find you because you're hiding you for what? Because you don't want people to perceive you. Baby, they doing that anyways. When you go to school, they're perceiving you. When you go to the store, they're perceiving you. When you go to family functions, they're perceiving you. That is a way of life. People have their perception and what they feel like their opinion of you is, but that's why God has given you a voice. You control the narrative in your life. Don't let nobody try to use your life or the stuff that you've been through against you or try to tell your story for you. You know your testimony. You know what God is doing in your life. You know who you are. Be bold in that. Be proud in that. Don't let nobody write your story for you. And I don't even know how we got on that topic, but I'm gonna get back on topic. Pleasure P on live saying this is why I don't do that social media mess, but you putting out music and you putting it out on social media. So how about you spend time being open and authentic? Let us know the purpose behind your music, what inspired you, because then people can connect with the heart of what you're putting out, the heart of your purpose, the heart of your product, and now they feel emotionally connected to that and they want to support that. So this is encouragement for any content creators, anybody that puts out any type of product on social media. Open up and allow your audience to get to know you, because then you'll be flowing in your calling. Your calling is what sets you apart. See, the thing about Sammie is that Sammie was called to sing from a young age. Just like he said, I started this. He was called to sing. Pleasure P got up there and sung, and he said, I don't be on here on social media putting on a show. I'm not with the social media stuff. What he's basically saying is, I'm not trying to get caught up in the clout. But you're still called to this. Sammie wasn't trying to get caught up in the clout, but he's still called for this. So for people that are called and not trying to get caught up with the clout, my encouragement for you is to let the people that you're called to get to know you. You can be authentic and transparent without getting caught up in the clout. That's why people that's in the clout seem like they're farther along or seem like they have so much more, because they're feeding into the clout. They understand that people is power. There's power in numbers. So they continue to feed whatever clout or whatever image they have, and it increases. And then the people with the real calling that's not trying to create an image, they get overlooked because they're not in the clout. But if you allow your purpose to speak for you, allow your calling to speak for you, allow God to use what he's giving you and share that with people authentically, genuinely, without all the props, without all of the shenanigans and the fluff that other people, God will set you apart. And that's what happened on that stage. God set them apart. Bobby V, he played on the piano. Ray J had a whole dance team, and y'all lost. I love you, man of God. Ain't no beef. I'm not a singer. I don't got no beef with nobody. I don't really care. I mean, it was just a show. But at the end of the day, I gotta say what I saw. And what I saw, I gotta say what I saw. Fix this table, because now the table is disrespecting me. And I said I wasn't gonna be a showzilla, but like, this stuff is getting ridiculous. Why is the table hitting me while I'm recording? At the end of the day, their calling spoke for them when they didn't have the clout, when they didn't have the fluff. And that's because that's what God placed inside of them. Don't get caught up in social media, but if you are on social media, allow your calling to speak for you. Don't get caught up in the clout. Don't get caught up in trying to create an image. Y'all already know. I tell y'all my testimony outright. Nobody can speak for me. Nobody can say I'm trying to create an image. Ghetto, attitude, single parent home, grew up in the struggle. That's why I love Lil Baby, but the Lord be blessing me and I be sharing his word. That's me. Like, y'all already know. Christian Bae, Christian for Christ, Bae for culture. It's cute, but it can get ratchet. Don't play with me. Y'all know. Y'all already know me. Like, I'm not one of them. The thing about social media and clout versus calling is that your calling will produce characteristics that are like Christ, because Christ is the one that gave you your calling. Whereas clout and social media will lead to you creating an image that eventually you can't keep up with. It's going to catch up with you because you're putting on. So be intentional about living a life based around your calling and not just following clout, not just following trends or what's next. When God, I talked to you guys about it in the last episode, when God gave me the word polish, it wasn't because polish was popular at the time. That was what he called me to do. That is who he called me to be. Now he's calling me to have this TV show where Christ and culture connect. There's some people that's not going to get it. Because what was that? Why was it sitting on my shoulder like that? It was nothing cute about that. It was not, no. So now he's calling me to do this TV show where Christ and culture connects, and some people may not get it. It may not make sense to them, but that doesn't matter. You have to choose actions and make decisions that are centered around the calling that God has placed in front of you or inside of you, because like I said, now is old news and next is what God is brewing up inside of you. So another topic and a final topic that I want to talk to you guys about, which also kind of relates to clout versus calling, is R. Kelly getting sentenced to 30 years in prison. R. Kelly, a legend, put out great music, was very popular before social media even came about, but his past actions is coming to catch up with him. And that's the thing. And that's the thing. That's my thing, is that people don't like to accept the fact that God's word is true. And his word says, I got the hands out for this. His word say, you reap what you sow. And the decisions that you were making in your prime, when you had all the clout, is now getting in the way of the thing that you was called to do. And that's the thing, y'all. Don't allow trying to keep up with clout or allow clout to make you do things that you think people will never find out about, because the word says you will reap what you sow. So be truthful, live in your calling, and do right. Because the thing that you think is not going to ever come out, God has a funny way of making things reveal themselves. So of course I hate that they're saying he's got 30 years in prison, because he's a legend and it's like 30 years with none of his music. But at the end of the day, the things that he did to these women weren't right at all. And I feel like this is a topic that needs to be addressed, because a lot of people now, especially with social media and black girl luxury and wanting to have expensive things, you make decisions to get these expensive things thinking that it'll never catch up with you. Don't allow clout to cancel out your calling. Don't do that. Stay in the process. Stay in the process. And this all goes full circle, because what I want you to understand is, even when Sammie didn't have clout before the verses, he could still sing. He was still a singer. Even in the pit, even when he went broke, even when he didn't have money, he still had the calling that God placed inside of his life. And it ate at him every day that he never gave up. He was still putting out music. You can see albums that he's been having all of these years. They weren't viral albums. They weren't albums that had clout around them, but it was still him operating in his calling.
Really 2006 is my return. So now I don't even want a deal. You know what I'm saying? It has to be a beautiful deal, and I still will have to have control for me to sign. I like to control my own destiny. So if it works, I take the credit. And if it goes to shit, blame me. But I want to control my own fate, you know? So and I really just know what I'm doing though. It's hard to explain because it's a vision that God gave me, but I see it so clearly, and then I do it.
And then you execute, absolutely.
And at the right time, in due time, God will elevate you to the next level. You just have to trust the process. Everybody's trying to skip the process. You cannot skip the process, because there are some things that's built inside of you in the process that will prepare you for the promise that God is taking you to.
You know, you probably felt down sometimes, like everything seems like it's on a rise, but it's not happening at the time in the capacity that you want it to happen. Like the difference is, like, when you know your purpose, you know your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know your purpose.
When you, I don't believe in the idea of time humans in regards to how we think. I just believe in God and the sacrifices it takes to continue to push forward. It's hard to wake up every day and continue when you don't see the results. But the journey is the destination. Don't worry about the end goal. Just focus on the process. You know what I'm saying? If you can fall in love with the process, you'll reach the end. And when you get to the end, you're gonna want more. So
see, Sammie was behind the scene making music, and then when it was time to get on stage, Ray J had the singer, had the dancers, but Sammie had the voice. And he had the voice because he'd been working on it behind the scenes. There are some things that God, y'all, I'm getting into a word. There's some things that God is working on you behind the scenes, and you getting discouraged because there's some people in the spotlight and there's some people on social media with all the clout, and you feeling like that disqualifies you. You feeling like that can come against what God is doing in you. But what God is saying today is the thing that he's stirring up in you, he got you in your training season. Because when it's time to hit the versus stage, that's your time to shine. When it's time to hit the versus stage, we gonna see who was training and who was taking their behind outside to drink Casamigos. When it's time to hit the versus stage, we gonna see who really was putting in work, who was really shooting in the gym and not playing around. We're gonna see at showtime, Ray J was trending for 48 hours and it wasn't for nothing good. It wasn't for nothing good. And why? Why? Because he was operating from a place of clout. You had the dancers. You went and picked up your son, talk about, oh, I'm holding my son, that's why I didn't hit the note. First of all, why you kept wanting to pick up your son? When it wasn't his time to sing, he was running around the stage. Running around with a rag on his head. Soon as it was his time to sing, he went and got a son.
Come on, baby. Baby, come out. You too, come on. One wish, what's up? One wish. Sing along. Yeah. One wish. Some people wish to be a superstar.
You could have been over there holding your son, waiting on your turn. It was a distraction because you got to keep up with your clout. And clout is a dangerous drug. Don't get caught up in that, y'all. I understand there's things that you want now. I understand there's things that God has promised you that you just looking like, God, why it ain't happened for me yet? Where is it? When am I going to get it? Stay in your calling. Stay true to what God is calling you to do. Don't go out there and make decisions to try to get clout and look like you got clout, because they're going to catch up with you. You reap what you sowed. And Sammie sowed studio time while Ray J was sowing having fun with the girls. And it showed.
Ray J better bring out performing that bull. Wish one wish. I sound better than you on your. Oh, Lil Sammie.
Yo, I'm really shocked. I'm impressed, dog.
Wish one. Hey,
what you mean? I already sang my song.
I don't need no auto-tune. I've been in the game.
I swear to you, I don't have nothing bad to say. If the was off or whack, I would have dissed him. That's not the goodest.
It's gonna show. Hard work pays off. At God's perfect timing, it will show. Continue to operate in your calling until it's your time to show out. Because when it's your time, nobody gonna shut you up. Nobody gonna shut you up. Nobody gonna shut you down. And can't nobody say you ain't earned it. I need some more lip gloss. Can you put it on? Never mind. Cause no, I saw your face. You was looking like you didn't want to do it. And baby girl, that's okay. It's okay, because God gave me 2 hands. I could do it myself. If God be for me, a little dab. Remember this now. See, this what I'm talking about, that clout. Now you trying to act funny towards me because it's just a little YouTube show, but when it can become a big show, I'm gonna remember that you ain't even want to put on my lip gloss. I'm gonna remember. No, I got it. I got it. No. I got it. Because when people show you their true colors, you gotta believe them the first time, okay? Everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. That's another word, right? Jot that down. Now, the last thing that I want to leave you guys with today is, of course, a word of encouragement. When you are operating in your calling, when you are doing what God has called you to do, sometimes you're going to be viewed as the bad guy, and you got to be okay with that. Welcome to the Bad Guy Show. I'll be the bad guy, and you have to be okay with, like, one thing that I realized, y'all, is that on my journey with Christ, I had spent one season feeling like if I'm doing what God has called me to do, I'm at peace with everybody and everybody's happy. That's the only way I know I'm really doing what God has called me to do. I have to make sure everybody around me is happy and approves of it and loves me. And I didn't even realize that at that point it was people pleasing. Because the thing is, you have to put favor with God over favor with men. And when you're doing what God is calling you to do, you're not always going to have favor with men. That's just the harsh reality. Sometimes you got to be the bad guy. Jesus was in the temple flipping over tables. He was flipping over tables. Let's not forget that they crucified him. They put the very people he came to save, put him on a cross and killed him because he was the bad guy in their eyes, even though he was blameless. He was innocent in all things, in all ways, perfect. They crucified him. So understand, when you're operating in your calling and you're doing what God is telling you to do, don't be shocked if you get crucified. How you gonna be a reflection of Christ and not get crucified? Are you a reflection or not? You're gonna get crucified. Because when God is calling you to do something, it disrupts systems. It shifts stuff. It makes people face things. It pulls up stuff that's been buried down for years and years and years. And I was reminded of this with the verses. Okay, y'all, it's plenty of words in this. I'm trying to tell y'all, anything in the culture, I can look at it and be like, let me find some scripture in this. I'm gonna find God in this. With the verses, I was reminded of this bad guy season and bad guy thing. Because do y'all know that there were some people slandering Sammie, saying that he needs to humble himself because he was singing Ray J's song and he shouldn't have been doing that. The same Ray J that was talking about, y'all don't know what he was saying to that man behind the stage. He said, I don't even know no little Sammie. Did I deserve that? Did I deserve that? No. The same one that told him you ain't got no budget. But then Sammie starts singing his song in a singing competition and he need to humble himself. Because let me tell you, when you start operating in your calling, don't be surprised when people tell you to humble yourself. Not because the thing is, they don't want to think about all the stuff that you went through to get to where you're at. That doesn't matter. Humble yourself. Oh, I've been humbled long enough. Okay, y'all don't know how Sammie felt putting out albums and still not getting recognized, still not getting invited to shows, still not getting the spotlight and the attention that he deserves. But he stayed consistent. He endured until he got to this point on the Verzuz stage. And y'all gonna say, humble yourself? I've been humble for plenty of years. Y'all, he got a post on his Instagram where he's opening a pack of ramen noodles saying that he was eating it every night and still putting out music.
Oh, she said,
Ramen.
She said, she sent you these because you don't have to eat them because you have to, but you're eating them because
I choose to.
Because you choose to.
I told her that before. That's some sister brother shit. One day I used to live off these.
Yes.
Now I still fuck with the noodles.
Yes.
You fucked up.
Okay.
But God is so good. I eat them because I want shit. I don't gotta survive.
So I want you to, like, y'all, I hope y'all getting it the way I'm feeling it. I want you to understand that God takes you through seasons of process, and he takes you through seasons of storms where you're being stretched and pulled, and he testing your faith, and he testing if you're gonna stay consistent. And then when you finally make it to the next level, you have people telling you stay humble. Well, I can't please everybody. The audacity to tell me to stay humble. If anybody knows about being humble, it's me, because I done got humbled. And that just comes with it, because that's how they did Jesus. And that's a part of this process. As God elevates you, people see the elevation on your life and they may not like it, but they don't know the cross that you carried to get there. They don't know the storms that you endured to get there. They don't know the trials, and sometimes they do know and they still tell you be humble. Baby, you didn't see me being humble, eating noodles every night, on food stamps, on government assistance. You saw my humble season, so don't ever try to play me like I'm not humble. But the thing is, and I've prayed and talked to God about this, it's like people want Christians to stay in the box. Stay humble. But why I can't be happy for the way that God is blessing me? Why I can't be happy for what God is doing? It's like they try to minimize you with the humble word. You could be humble and aware. Don't let nobody try to play you. It was nothing unhumble about what Sammie did, and that's just my opinion. Y'all can share y'all opinion. But I don't feel like it wasn't humble because it was a singing competition. That's what they do on Verzuz. We're versing each other. So of course it's gonna get a little competitive, and you was throwing shots at me behind stage, but I brought the competition to the stage like you're supposed to do. But I need to be humble. Don't let nobody little girl you when it come to your calling. Don't let nobody little boy you when it come to your calling. And that's what Ray J tried to do to him. He tried to little boy him with the calling that God placed inside of him. And the thing about it is, you trying to tell me to humble yourself, but do you know the God that I serve? The God that I serve gonna show up every time. And I don't need to humble myself when I'm giving him praise and glory. No. You're not gonna make me water down my praise to him, especially when I'm letting it be known I only got this because of him. I don't need to humble myself. See, that's the thing. This world is humble when it comes to praising God, but you loud about everything else, and I don't like that. I don't like that. When it comes to God, you need to be humble, but everything else you could be loud. No. The calling, the purpose that God placed on your life, the process he's taking you through, be bold about it. Tell people about it. Give him his glory, because you know what he brought you through. So when it came to Sammie singing his song, and they was trying to say he need to humble himself, they was just painting him out as the bad guy. I'm the bad guy because I was singing on key. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy because I'm doing what God told me to do. I'll be the bad guy. Welcome to the Bad Guy Show. So my encouragement for you guys is, if you know that your heart is pure, if you know that you're doing what God is calling you to do, if you know your intentions, if you know that you taking it to God and laying it at your feet, if you know the process that you went through, if you know the hell that you went through, if you know the storm that you went through, and you prayed your way through it, and you stayed consistent, and you stayed faithful to what God was telling you to do, don't let nobody try to humble you. Because when you was going through the storm, they wasn't telling you to be humble. See, sometimes people don't like you to come up. And that's them people that was in the comments. They wasn't telling Sammie to be humble when nobody was listening to him. They wasn't telling Sammie to be humble when 2 weeks ago when nobody was thinking about him. They wasn't leaving comments saying humble yourself. It's when God elevated him, and that's how it works. When God begins to elevate you and people don't like it, they want to throw the word humble. Don't let nobody minimize the blessings that God is dropping and releasing in your life. You ain't got to be humble when it comes to God. And I'm not saying get prideful, but show people that this is what God did, and I'm proud of it. I could be proud of it. This is what God took me out of. He removed me out of the struggle, and I could be proud of it. Continue to flow in your calling. Continue to sing how Sammie kept singing. Continue to sing. Continue to do what God is calling you to do. Because God knows your heart. He tested your heart in your trial season. He tested your heart in your humble season. And he sees that he can trust you with more. So don't let people that wasn't in the process with you try to simmer you down when your God is calling you for more. You got to be okay with being the bad guy sometimes. But the bad guy to people is often the good guy in God's eyes. And that's all that matters. So there's a verse that I want to leave you guys with that relates to being a bad guy and what to expect when you're operating in your calling and you're doing what God has called you to do. This is the verse I want you to hold on to. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7 through 10. And it says, because of these surprisingly great revelations, what that's talking about is the promises and the things that God has revealed to you that he's going to do in your life. Because of these surprisingly great revelations, therefore, in order to keep me from being conceited. See, that's the thing. When people try to tell you to humble yourself, God has already given you something to keep you from being conceited, okay? God don't need people to humble you, because he going to humble you anyways, okay? But people don't be knowing the way that he humbles you, but he got it all handled, okay? So it says, therefore, in order to keep me from being conceited, because when he give you his promise and he tell you what he's promising you, it's gonna make you feel a little big-headed, because it's like, you're doing all that for me? But he like, but hold on, let me give you this little thorn to keep you from being conceited. So it says, therefore, in order to keep me from being conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Therefore, that is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses. I take joy in weaknesses. In insults, which means when you operate in your calling, they're going to insult you. In insults, in hardships, when you're operating in hardship in your calling, you're going to go through hardships. In persecutions, when you're operating in your calling, they're going to persecute you. You're the bad guy. You're the bad guy. In persecutions and difficulties, you're going to go through difficulties in your calling. For when I am weak, then God is strong. Because when you go through them hardships, when you go through them insults, when you go through them persecutions, you are weak. They making you weak. They making you the bad guy. But God is strong. And that's all you need. Okay? Because before you know it, you're going to be on your Verzuz stage. Showing that. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching another episode of the Christian Bae TV, episode 2. the bad guy, Clout versus Colin. I pray that you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, share this video with a friend, and leave in the comments some other topics that you would like me to discuss on next week's episode. Comment your favorite part of this video too. I know I be telling y'all to comment a lot, but I be wanting to talk to y'all. Dad, can we talk? That's my song. Can we talk for a minute? Y'all heard that key? I could sing a little bit. Nah, I got a little bit in me. Now, I ain't no Sammie, but I'm more like a Ray J. I could Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on episode 3 next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you. Share this, subscribe, turn on the bell notification, and give it a big thumbs up. Bye. Cut. Did y'all see that? Now that's calling. That's calling. And see, the people that I was talking about is y'all, because y'all be trying to humble me by not helping me. And that's my thing. Cause see, guess what? I've been doing it by myself. The Lord gives me strength to do it by myself. So regardless of how much y'all be hating, I'll be making it happen.